Good evening, it's Jessica, and I'm here to hand you an invitation to my Gothic party. Some of you may know that since about the second quarter, I've been really interested in finding modern Gothic literature, and I thought, given the fall atmosphere, the general spookiness of Gothic literature and Gothic stories, a perfect time for us to go over both some classics and some new modern takes I found would be here in October and November. So what kind of videos can you expect to fall under the Gothic party staples? Well, I have a couple of ideas planned out. The first thing I'm going to do is read and make a video for the top 10 most popular Edgar Allan Poe stories found on Goodreads. Those stories are going to include The Raven, The Telltale Heart, The Cast of Amontillado, The Pit and the Pendulum, The Fall of the House of Usher, The Black Cat, The Mask of the Red Death, The Murders in Runemore, The Purloined Letter, and Annabel Lee. I haven't reviewed anything Edgar Allan Poe since my high school days. I'm going to start by using the most popular edition of Edgar Allan Poe's works, The Complete Stories and Poems by Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm probably going to end up giving a review of what I think of this unique copy of the reader. I'm going to do a video comparing two young adult Gothic book series that I've read recently. They have a lot of similarities, and I just thought it would be fun to compare and get some takeaways. And I want to discuss some movies that have strong Gothic flair, and I have a couple of surprise push ideas that I haven't 100% put together yet. As far as Gothic literature goes, or the Gothic style, or Gothic architecture, at this point in time it's become such a broad, popularized term. There's really no one answer that's going to fit any of those things. But to get a spotlight in my Gothic party, you're going to need three of the following elements within a story. Horror elements specifically focused on pleasurable terror, or the protagonist embracing darker parts of themselves or the world around them, may often have a misunderstood evil trope, or have a protagonist falling to darkness. Stress the emotions and character over the plot. This is going to have a lot of long, flowery prose, the kind that I usually get very impatient when executed to a T, a lot of metaphor, emotion, and longing. Can just wrap someone in a very atmospheric story. There'll probably be a lot of deep internal monologues and soul searching, and over-focus on the self and the protagonist's intimate group. There's probably going to be a lot of dialogue in these books. There'll also be a lot of time with the protagonist researching, studying, and trying to figure out what their research means. There'll be a looser, more poetic structure in the writing versus a more strict adherence to grammar and convention. All the stories themselves will have an element of loneliness and longing. The protagonist is going to feel isolated from other characters. This could be actually physically their location, or it could be that the protagonist themselves feels different, not like other people, or other people push them away. The protagonist might also be isolated from people because they know a secret that other people don't, or intuit things that other people are not noticing around. Goth stories focus on death, ghosts, possession, hauntings, some element of the afterlife. There's a bonus if there's witches or rituals. And all of this focus on the afterlife, death, ghosts, hauntings, it's going to have a melancholy element to it. It can be horrific and scary too, but there'll be a certain level of sad and somber interwoven in the mix. These stories will have a potential supernatural element. It can be an open question about whether or not a protagonist is going mad, or whether or not they're experiencing something supernatural. Sometimes that tension between whether it's real or not helps the isolation, helps build an internal conflict. It is more scary to think that the things the character is experiencing are all in their head versus an actual supernatural being they could fight or resist in some way. And this leads me to the next element, the idea of madness or mental instability is explored within these stories. This usually comes about either through how the protagonist experiences ghosts, haunting, possession, or how the protagonist feels isolated and alone from their peers. Sometimes the mental instability is actually the cause of their isolation. A lot of these different points are intertwined. The goth element comes from marrying these elements together and not any one point. These stories should revel in some kind of folklore or superstition. A lot of times there are legends or myths built around the house or the location. Sometimes the family itself has this self-perpetuating lore or sort of spookiness to it. Even like a shorter story that might be set in a graveyard or kids following a tomb, this sense of tradition, history, and long-standing sense of horror, which leads me right into the next point, having a strong sense of place. A lot of times these stories happen in one single place, and that house or the school or the cemetery or the tomb is almost a character all by itself. It has a history, it seems to respond to the protagonist, is something that they struggle against. We're going to enjoy some of the spooky and the melancholy ennui of Goth. Consider this your invitation to the upcoming Gothic party, with more videos coming out for the next 2 months. I hope you'll consider joining me, dig out some of that thick eyeliner and dark lipstick, and we can explore different expressions of Gothic literature together for the next 2 months. Do any of you have a favorite Gothic work? Share in the comments down below. And if you're looking for something that's got a little of that dark, atmospheric element, I do have a review of The Irregulars I put up recently here. That's a particular young adult Netflix show set in Victorian times. And while I don't think it strictly adheres to Gothic aesthetic, it does have a dark mystery vibe going on. And it is focused on helping the teens in the story process loss. And as always, keep reading. Bye!